Video game addiction is a new concept of addiction with the introduction of video games in the last 20 years or so. It is considered to be a psychological addiction, as opposed to a physical one, and a person who lives with this type of addiction feels compelled to spend a lot of time playing video games alone or with friends. Get all the info and help you need here. Addiction in any form is a chronic, but treatable, brain disorder. People who have an addiction cannot control their need for alcohol, drugs, tobacco, gambling, and even in the face of negative health, social or legal consequences. This lack of control is the result of chemical changes in the brain, and those changes, in turn, cause behavior changes. Video game addiction is a new concept of addiction with the introduction of video games in the last 20 years or so. It is considered to be a psychological addiction, as opposed to a physical one, and a person who lives with this type of addiction feels compelled to spend a lot of time playing video games alone or with friends. The most addictive types of video games are massive multiplayer online role-playing games (MMORPG), and anyone can have access to them on the web. Over time, the addicted person's world starts to become smaller as they isolate themselves from social links with people in the real world and spend most of their free time playing these games. Other signs of video game addiction include the following: spending several hours each day playing video games, neglecting work or family responsibilities in order to play, using sick or vacation days to get more time to play video games, neglecting to eat, sleep, or bathe in order to play, feeling angry or depressed if you can't play video games. To overcome an addiction, you have to take some measures yourself. The first is to admit that you have an addiction problem. Whether it is drugs, alcohol, gambling, or video games. You have to recognize that you have all the symptoms of addiction and need help. When you have convinced yourself that you are addicted and need help, only then can you start on the path of recovery. The level of assistance you require will depend on the severity of your addiction. If you feel that you only live to play video games, then you may need counseling or professional medical help. This is the best way of overcoming your addiction, but may come with a high financial cost. For cases that are not so severe, you need to get support from friends and family to overcome your addiction problem. You have to be open with them and tell them about your addiction. When they know that you want to stop the addiction, they can help by ensuring that you spend more time with them doing other interesting things like going to the movies, playing physical games that you like, visiting interesting places, starting new hobbies, etc. You can also help yourself by ensuring that you spend more time with family and friends. Make them the priority in your life, and you will be spending more time with them and doing new things with them. By doing so, you will find that you have less time to spend on your addiction and will soon lose the craving for it. As you start having interest in other new things, your addiction will soon be a thing of the past and you can move on. In order to overcome an addiction, you have to recognize the temptations of the addiction. When you know what are the temptations to the addiction, you can try to avoid them. To do so, you need self-control. Most addiction happens due to failures of self-control. As time goes by, you might start to like some of these new hobbies or interests and totally forget about your addiction. Spend more time doing these new healthy interests. When this happens, you are now on the road to recovery. Take the time to thank all family and friends for their support and assistance. The best remedy for an addiction is to get support from your friends and family. This assistance can be in the form of financial, for medical treatment, psychological, and companionship. With friends and family, they will always be around to ensure that you stay on the right track to recovery. Friends can also play a big part in your recovery. They can involve you in new interests, hobbies, and adventure. With all these new events happening, you will have less time to brood on your addiction and temptations. You will find that your new interests will start to take up more and more of your free time, and this will start you on the road to recovery from your addiction. Be more open with new friends and interests. Get to experience new things with friends and family. You might even get addicted to a new hobby that is healthy and beneficial. There are many healthy hobbies like cycling, futsal, cooking, and an endless list of other hobbies and interests. There are many new things happening every day in our lives. It is actually very easy to get involved in many of them as they are exciting and can change a person's way of life. There are new technologies, new sports, new applications, new recipes, new retail concepts, new movies, new clubs, and the list goes on. By indulging yourself in some of them, you will find that you will also find new friends. With new friends you will also spend more time away from your addiction and more time with them. As you start spending more time in your new endeavors, your cravings for your addiction will start to shift to these new experiences. With this shift, you will start forgetting about your addiction and be more focused on your new experiences. When you start participating in some of these new experiences, you will meet new friends who might have interests that are new and exciting to you. Join them and experience these new feelings. It could be going to a new restaurant, a new club, a new resort, or a new place. They may also be involved in a sport that you are not familiar with. Sports like scuba diving, cave diving, rock climbing, jungle trekking, paragliding, hang gliding, and others. Go out and enjoy all these wonderful new experiences with friends and family. You will have more wonderful memories to cherish. Your friends and family will also be happier with a new and better you. Most people do social networking by attending these events, which are in themselves very warm and friendly. They meet new friends and also meet up with old friends and family at many of these events. With new friends comes new contacts and opportunities. New contacts are a great way of enhancing your career or business. These new contacts may give you a boost to your career or even to your business. These new contacts may even be a good lead to new places, new restaurants, new shopping areas, latest news, and so on. Many people actually find their soulmates in some of these events. You also catch up on news about friends and family during these events. The reason why some people are still single is because they do not like to socialize. When you are not involved in society, you get forgotten and remain lonely. This is not much different from a person who is addicted to video games. These types of gamers spend almost all of their awake time in front of the computer playing their favorite video games. They shun away from friends and family. They dislike crowded areas. They become an outcast to friends and family. The only family they have are probably other gamers who also play the games online. They also share the same fate of loneliness and being a social outcast. For those people who spend most of their lives in front of a computer playing video games, they will more often than not be missing out on birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, housewarming parties, barbecue parties, Christmas parties, New Year parties, new movies, engagement parties, and many more. Imagine a life without all these wonderful moments. It is very sad and lonely. Change it today.